G'day guys, Mitch from the Brew Lab here, and today we have the beginning of something a little bit different. We have a new little segment that you'll probably already know because you've looked at the caption. It's called Breaking Bad Coffee, where we are going to do our best to get rid of bad coffee for good. And we're going to show people how easy that is by introducing you to someone that is going to be a part of this little adventure. Everyone say hello to Connor.
Hi.
All right, so I think a good way to start this off is have a little bit of a chat to Connor about a bit of his experience. I know he's got a little bit of experience in this industry. So mate, where have you kind of come from without naming names?
Calling anything out, yeah. So I worked as retail staff barista at a takeaway dessert place located in Penrith. And
do with that info what you like.
Yeah. And one of the big products that we sell is the coffee, and that's kind of where I started drinking coffee more regular. And yeah, I was there for about 5 years, and I was team trainer, and I would train some of the newer staff on how to make coffees from the training that I was given from head office.
Okay, all right. And what was your opinion on the final result of that coffee?
In the beginning, it was good.
Yep.
But yeah, nearing the end of it, it started to get worse and worse because training wasn't so structured. So yeah, the overall quality just started to drop.
Yep.
And yeah, I stopped drinking the coffee there.
Okay.
And I tried my best to.
And that's when we met.
And that's when we met, yeah.
All right, so before we get ourselves a lawsuit, we'll move on from that subject. So look, you know, we're big on the science of coffee here, and we kind of coffee nerd about things every time you come in. Where do you think you're at when it comes to the science of coffee? Like, where do you think you're at?
So I know like the basics. So that like time, temperature, and pressure are important to get different flavors.
Yep.
But when I was working, it was very like, just meet these numbers and you'll be sweet.
Just make a coffee.
Just make a coffee.
Yeah, cool. All right. And I think, you know, we can call this an experiment. What do you plan on, well, what would you like to get from this experiment?
I want to be able to make like a good coffee.
Yeah.
More consistently.
Yeah.
I want to...
Because anyone can make a good coffee, right?
Yeah, anyone can make a coffee and a good coffee.
Yep.
But getting it every single time and having the taste not vary, that's the important bit, I think.
Yep.
So yeah, being able to do that more consistently and really just discover how much one type of bean can bring out different flavors and work with that.
Without changing the bean, you just literally play with the parameters right?
Yeah, changing the settings.
All right, well that's definitely something we can do. So why don't we go and do it?
Yeah, sweet.
All right.
Let's
All right, so Connor, what I've gone and done is I've built in to this bad boy right here, this button here, push that backwards.
Like towards it?
Nah, pull it towards you. Yeah, that's forwards, backwards. Well, it depends which way you're facing. So I've built you this recipe. So this is a pretty standard coffee machine recipe. I'm not going to name the brand of coffee machine because, again, another lawsuit. So 21 grams of coffee in, 42 grams of liquid espresso out in about 32 seconds. That's all give or take. That one's not a give or take. That's exact.
That's exact, yeah.
Because we're going to measure that one exact, and that is going to be our control. I've set the group head to 94 degrees Celsius. We have an infusion of coffee at 3 bar of pressure for 3 seconds. Then our extraction is actually 85 ml of coffee at 9 bar with no post extraction. So it's literally going to finish the shot, 9 bar, done.
So beginning process, mid and the final, and would we be able to hear the difference?
You'll hear it.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But the difference between 3 bar and 9 bar on that machine is a big difference.
Big difference. Okay.
Yeah. So that's a pretty easy, pretty standard recipe to follow. Okay. And then we can actually look at the flavor of the coffee and we can show the viewers.
Okay.
Right? And it's a good way to sort of keep an eye on the flavor so you know what you're tasting without going, oh, I think it was, where you can literally just compare.
Easy to visualize it. And that's spot on to the recipe I was using. So it's going to be a good.
There you go. Because I'm sure you were using the machine that everyone knows I'm not talking about.
A coffee machine.
Yep.
Yeah.
One of those ones from Italy.
Because they all are.
Yeah. Cool.
No, terrific.
All right, so we're going to make a coffee in a minute and we're going to see what it tastes like.
Let's do it.
All right, guys, so we're over at the Opera. Connor knows most of the recipe now, 21 grams in. Hopefully I've done my job and built him a recipe that actually does what that says. You know what I mean. Let's make a coffee.
All right, so we're looking at 21 grams of coffee. We've tared there. Ooh, a little more. So it's not one thing, it's the other.
So we have upgraded the burrs in that grinder to speed it up, which also means accuracy is just ridiculous.
How's that?
Mate, 20.9. Oh, bit of wind, it's a 21. That'll do.
So I've never used one of these.
Haven't used the distributor before, or a dosing cup?
No.
Okay. So without these two things, it is hard to get accuracy and a control espresso. So set the bar there, and we'll see what happens.
And let's go.
9 bar pull. Well, it doesn't look too bad.
Just sounds painful.
Yeah, look, a 9 bar shot on an Opera. It's it's a little bit brutal. But we are looking on target. Probably going to go a little bit under on the time, but that's okay. So we've gone 29. We were aiming for a 32 and we're 38 point something on the yield there. So we're a little bit low on the yield, but it's fine. It is going to give us a good little base on what we're going to taste.
Yeah.
That's an espresso. It's going to be fine. Let's drink it. All right, so before we drink this coffee, spoon, always stir your espresso, okay? We need to taste all of it in one mouthful, and I'm gonna do a video at a later stage that may involve Connor, and I'm gonna explain why, but that's all you need to know for now. So, cheers to a terrible coffee. Looks, it's definitely not the worst coffee I've ever had. So Connor doesn't like that coffee. That's apparent.
Yeah.
While you're rinsing away all your sins, I'm going to explain what we're doing here. So these are the three, in my opinion, key attributes to what makes a good espresso. So we've got acidity, which a lot of people will see as bitterness, sweetness, you know what sweetness is, and then texture, that's the mouth feel of the coffee. So Connor, I'm going to let you come and move these little magnets around and let us know where you think we are on the level of acidity.
Yeah, listen, it wasn't that bad.
Well, your reaction would say otherwise.
No, it was very, very acidic, very, like I still taste it.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty. It's coming back.
It's got a, yeah. There was barely any sweetness. It had a good texture to it. It looked good at the time.
Yep.
But then actually like tasting it,
The mouthfeel.
the mouthfeel was.
I just like saying mouth because it just sounds weird.
Listen, I'd probably put it there.
Okay.
But the acidity was quite high.
It was very high.
Yeah.
It was.
Yeah.
That was no secret with your reaction.
Yeah.
My palate can handle a lot. I have some pretty nasty coffees here at 5 in the morning when I'm dialing in. So I'm kind of immune to it.
Usually there's like milk with that type of.
Yeah, fair. Yeah.
But,
yeah, and look, to be honest, if you had milk in that and you drink caramel lattes or sugars, and that's fine. You're allowed to. That's not an issue.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't notice how bad that was.
Yeah.
And that's a completely standard thing. You can save a pretty bad espresso with good milk and sugar and
Additives and stuff.
good word.
Thanks.
Wow, this guy. So I think probably the smartest way to move forward from there is, what would you do to what would you like to change about this coffee? Okay, where would you like this to be?
Ideally, let's drop this down. But in doing that, this should come up. If it was like that, that would be awesome.
Yep.
But being neutral
as an espresso.
yeah, but being neutral across the board would be great. But if I'm buying an espresso, like a quality one,
That's where you want to be.
that's why I want it
Yep.
base.
So you want a nice, sweet, thick, creamy espresso.
Yeah, like I don't mind acidity, but not when it's over here.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Okay.
I think that would be a good
All right.
baseline.
Okay. And obviously, these things are changed by changing these or these. There are things we can change. There's many things we can change, right? So, just for example, there are 6 things here we can change because we can obviously add post-extraction, which we don't have a problem with doing. We can change all of this stuff. Your temperatures, we can change the dose, which will change everything again.
Yeah.
So I would like to play with all of these things, whether we do it all at once, whether we just start with one thing, which is probably not a terrible way to do it.
Yep.
Where would you like to start?
Let's sort out the pressure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What would you like to do with the pressure?
If we drop that down, maybe to what, 7?
7 bar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, 7, and then maybe go 1 or half a second. I want to see if that.
So that'll
does
be
anything.
in milliliters.
Oh, okay.
So a couple of mil of extraction,
Yeah.
of post-extraction at what sort of pressure you think?
Probably a 2 at most, maybe 1, 1.5.
2? Yeah, let's have a play.
Okay, sweet.
One way to find out.
I won't spit this one.
All right, so I'm gonna flex the Sanremo Opera right here, and I'm gonna run you guys through what we're doing. So Connor has written here, well, I wrote because,
Your writing's better.
well, yeah, I wasn't gonna say it. So we're changing the extraction pressure. So we're staying at 85 mil. We're just dropping to 7 bar of pressure instead of the 9 bar. Now we're also adding a post-extraction where we just had, it was 85 mil, 9 bar, and the shot. We're adding 2 mil at 2 bar. And what that means is we're actually, the last 2 mil of this will be at 2 bar. Okay, so we're not adding any water to it. We're actually just using
Same
the
amount.
last 2 mil
Yeah.
at 2 bar.
Okay.
So let's go over here, and with this Fandangle guy right here, so all we're going to change is our main infusion, which I don't know if you guys can see right there, but this one here we're going to go down to 7 bar. Focus you. 7 bar, and we're going to add 2 mil. 2 bar post extraction. Okay, so I don't know if you guys can see that. I think you can. It might be a little bit blurry. We are going to write the parameters. Ta-da! All right, so we have changed the profile in the machine to your new recipe.
Yep.
Let's make a coffee. Action.
All right, so we're going to stick to the new recipe now, but the beginning is going to be the same. Here we go. $20.7, $20.8, a little more. Is it going to be too much?
Oh yeah. Welcome to my life.
21.2?
That's fine, man.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So, one thing I realized when we got rid of the excess just then is I am probably tamping a little too light.
Yep. How did you know that?
Because the biscuit was all deformed. It had some cracks going through it. Some of it would have been from the pressure, but I'm gonna see if we can get this to be a little better and a little closer to our target time. And hopefully, I don't spit this one up.
Is that what this was for?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty, it wasn't great.
Here we
Okay.
go.
So we're going 3 bar, 7 bar extraction. It sounds a lot nicer. Target's looking much more achievable. Yield's looking nice. So we're still looking for 42 grams out in about 32 seconds. And we're looking definitely better. 2 bar of post there. Oh, so 31.6 seconds. So we're within 0.4 of a second. And our yield is 39.6. Mate, that's pretty good.
Better than last time.
Majority of that difference was the tamp. Yes, you definitely tamped light.
Okay.
Let's give these guys a stir.
Cheers.
We have washed our mouth out with some sparkling because that last espresso is definitely going to taint anyone's palate.
Especially a rookie like me. All right. That was better.
I actually want more.
Yeah, I'll finish it off.
All right, so that was a much more palatable coffee. What do you think the biggest difference there was?
The smoothness. It was a lot more just gradual.
All right, so if we go back to here, I think you were up here,
Yep.
down here, and textures, something like that?
Yeah, something like
Okay.
that. Probably like, yeah, like this,
Yep.
yeah.
All right.
Now,
So where would you put it at now?
that's dropped. Sweetness has gone up a little bit, but the texture's also gone probably more to the baseline.
Awesome. All right, so texture's getting pretty close to a balanced espresso, which is kind of the word a lot of baristas use, is that balance in coffee. It's very, very important. Where would you go? What are we doing? Because obviously that's better,
That is better.
but that doesn't matter how good you get it. You always want better, right?
Yeah.
That's what she said.
So let's go longer post.
How much longer?
Let's go
Longer or higher pressure?
longer. Let's make that, let's go cozy. Let's go 10 mils.
Holy Jesus.
Is that too much?
We'll find out in a minute.
All right. Because dropping the pressure, I assume drops the bitterness, but I don't want to drop the pressure too much. I want to try and keep it balanced.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if we do it this way, it's going to simulate dropping the pressure,
Okay.
but be a little more consistent.
I like your theory.
We'll find out.
We're about to find out.
All right.
Let's make a coffee. All right, so Connor has asked me to edit his recipe, and all we're going to do is change the post-infusion up to the maximum of 10 mil. He didn't know that was the maximum, so that's kind of ironic. I've never pulled a coffee with 10 mil of
Cool.
ever. So we're about to find out what that does. So we're going to write the parameters on that one. Yes, and done. You ready for this?
Yep.
I have a feeling this is going to be a very long shot. All right, so we're going to make a coffee. Again. So anyone with a bit of experience is going to be questioning like 10 mil of post-extraction. Like
Right.
that is pretty out there. I've never had a coffee with that. Look at this guy go, hey? Sign him up. Oh, the wind blew.
The wind blew.
So what's your theory behind that?
The 10 mil post. I'm expecting it to slowly drag that last flavor out, get rid of some of the acidity, and bring up that sweetness, because so far it's been pretty low.
Yeah.
So
Because we're essentially removing 10 mil from here, right? So 10 mil of that extraction is just being sent to bar instead of 7.
yeah,
So in theory, I see where you're going with it.
in practice,
We're about to find out, and that's the beauty of this. So,
that's actually like one thing I really like about coffee.
Yep.
Is because every little thing changes it like drastically.
oh yeah,
And that's like half the fun of mucking about and doing this.
yeah, man.
All right.
Did we test that this profile worked?
We will now.
Correct answer.
Sweet. Otherwise, movie magic.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right, so let's tear those and let's make a coffee. All right, so the standard 3 bar up to 7.
I love that sound.
It's a good sound,
It's
isn't
a
it?
good sound.
So we're looking, it's very low on the yield so far. Don't know if that's the temp or the grind. You know, it's been half an hour since we actually made the last coffee. And then 2 bar. Remember when I said I think this is going to be a long coffee? Yeah. So I'm not saying it's going to be a bad coffee. It's just maybe breaking the rules a little bit too much.
On the Maverick.
Now, I have had
41. It's closest we've got.
the yield is bang on. Shot time is a touch over, 10 seconds over. Just an honest, I don't expect this to be great, but one of the best coffees I've ever had was a 40 odd second shot. And that's breaking the rules, and that's half the fun of coffee, is you break the rules and see what works. I've never done 10 mil like I've said, but let's
I'm about to make history.
let's wait and see. Let's stir that bad boy.
All right.
Coffee number 32 for the day. What's your thoughts, mate?
See, it's still that same acidity, but it's just like, it's not a punch, it's just stretching it out.
What? It's actually quite fruity.
Yeah.
It's definitely not a bad coffee. Like, anyone sees that, if I walked up to an espresso machine and saw that shot time sitting on the machine, I'd be pretty scared of ordering a coffee. I won't lie. But it's actually not bad. And just for anyone watching, this is just our Quattro 4th Farm blend. We're not playing with single O's yet because this is actually a very easy coffee to get right. The window for error is enormous, so you can actually do some silly things and it still tastes pretty good. Look, I'm certainly not craving that shot again.
Not again.
But it was cool.
Yeah. You're right, very fruity.
It's super fruity, like that real peachy apricot almost. I've never had that from that coffee, considering this guy is like chocolate, caramel, hazelnut with a bit of citrus at the end. That is the first time I've ever really had that.
All that citrus.
It was pretty cool. I'm not even upset. That was mad. Where are we going?
All right, so if extending the post extraction at a lower pressure is bringing out more of the fruity flavor.
Or actually, hang on, before we go there,
okay.
Where are we? Before we know where we're going.
I wanna bump those up because that was actually like a good acidity, and it was the sweetness. I think it was just like tart.
Yeah, it was definitely lacking that sweetness. It was more the citrus.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll probably go there.
Yep.
But yeah, it was like, instead of bad acidity, which we've had for the last 30 cups, that was pretty enjoyable. But yeah, like you said,
it definitely just wasn't balanced.
Yeah.
Right. It was a fun espresso.
It was a cool
nothing balanced
experiment.
about it.
It was a cool experiment.
Yeah. Yeah. You're right. All right. Cool. So, by the looks of it, if we brought that up, we're really close to a balanced espresso, right?
Yeah. How do you think that will happen? If we change the pressure because we want the majority of the output to be at, let's go 6 bar,
Yeah.
and I want to drop the post extraction time down. So
Don't mind me.
let's drop.
So we're going 6 bar?
Yeah, we'll go 6 bar for the majority.
So 6 bar for the extraction.
And let's drop this back down to 5. It was fun, but let's drop that down to 5.
Well, it was a good experiment, and that's what all this is.
So that
I don't need to
means,
sleep tonight. I'll just keep drinking coffee, right?
Yeah, who needs sleep?
Yeah, tomorrow.
You're open tomorrow anyway.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. So it will be 80 mils at 6 bar, and then the 5 mil at 2 bar post extraction.
Correct.
And ideally, we bump this.
You think that's going to do that?
Not that much, probably about here.
Okay.
And if it's there, I'm pretty happy.
All right. So let's put it where it was.
About there, right?
Yep.
Yep.
And let's make a
Let's
coffee.
go. Again.
Again. Yay. Yeah. All right, so while Connor's washing some things, I'm going to build this little profile. So we need to go to... we're dropping that down to 6 bar of pressure for the main extraction. And then we're going down to 5 mil of post extraction because that was ridiculous. Right, that one. If you've never played with an opera and you're a barista, you haven't lived, because you can't do this with your machine unless you have one. Okay, so that should be loaded. Once he's over there finished doing his daily duties of dishes, we're gonna have some more espresso because it's 6 o'clock at night and I don't want to sleep apparently.
Who needs blood?
No, don't worry about it. All right, so the new profile is loaded in. If you're wearing headphones, I apologize for that. Hang on, look at him go. God, sign him up. Also, if you're enjoying this kind of content, let us know. Because if you don't like it, we should probably stop doing it.
Probably.
I don't know, we're probably going to keep
Or
doing
not.
it anyway. Nah, probably won't. I enjoy it. Something different. Just stop looking at my head.
Can't miss my head.
Well, you know. All right.
go again.
It's much more gentle. It looks more like a coffee I want to drink already. No, I'm not going to tell you that secret. I'm not telling you guys anything. So this is probably going to go a little bit over because we have dropped the pressure. No, it's actually pretty damn good. Not bad. Not bad. Okay. So 37.5 seconds with a 38 gram yield, or 39. It's not too bad. It definitely looks a lot nicer than some of the others we've had today. One in particular.
Which one?
Look, let's leave it to the imagination. That's a good coffee.
Yeah.
That, you know, we're talking about espresso here, but espresso is the base of coffee. If that had milk in it, that would be a very, very servable drink, even though it's up at 37 seconds, because the last 8 seconds of that was at 2 bar of pressure. So it wasn't blasting that coffee through, it was actually just kind of gently extracting the remaining flavors. So it wasn't bad by any means. It definitely was just sitting in 90 odd degrees of water for a little bit too long.
Yeah.
Okay. Where would you say we're at on the scale over there?
I think we got much less of the citrus. I taste kind of like, was it the hazelnuts? Was it? Yeah. And the aftertaste is a lot better.
Yep.
I think it hasn't really changed, but for different reasons.
Yep.
Like the acidity wasn't heaps bad. It was like a punch, and then it just mellowed out straight away.
Yep.
But we just got rid of all the fruit, which is probably because it's not pushing through 10 mil.
Yeah.
It's only pushing through 5.
Yep.
But I think I went on the right idea of dropping the pressure.
I will highly agree.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'm thinking, because I've got a little bit left, hold on. If we go 3
Oh yeah.
at 2, I think
like
that would be a little better,
Okay.
because that final bit is what's pushing the time over, and I think it's lingering on to that
So 3 bar?
acidity.
So 2 mil at 3 bar. I like it. I like it. I like it very much.
Okay.
For anyone watching at home, and Connor doesn't know this, he's getting very close to my recipe that I use in the cafe. Very close. And I'm not saying a word. And this is genuine. I have had 0 input into every change here, okay? That would not be fun. This isn't for entertainment purposes. It's purely, I'm letting him make up his mind with his taste and that little graph over there, because it works. And this is, I'm actually showing you guys how I build a recipe whenever I get beans. This is how long it takes every time. So this is cool. You're definitely on the right track.
Sweet.
Let's build that profile. All right, so you're probably sick of looking at my head, so we'll just get straight into it. So we are going to leave, all we're doing is post extraction. So we're going down to 2 mil, but up to 3 bar of pressure.
And we're dropping the extraction down 1 bar.
And the extraction?
Yeah, the extraction was 7 bar. We're dropping it down to 6 bar.
We've already done that part, haven't we? Yeah, we already did that part.
Already did that?
Yeah, we already did that.
Cool.
Yep. That one, we'll write that bad boy. Double check, 2 mil, 3 bar, 6 bar. Well, let's make a coffee.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Go. We've had way too much coffee.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was too much coffee, but
Yeah.
well, you've had more coffee because I spat the first one.
Well, true. It is, 10 past 6 and
It's too good.
yeah. On it. Look at him go. Hey, I'm having tomorrow off. You want a job?
If you pay me.
Well, about that.
But to be fair, I've had, 23 coffees off you.
That's a good point. Pay you in coffee.
Worth it. I think I stuffed that tank up.
Tamp it again.
Yeah.
You can adjust. You can always adjust your tamp.
Yeah, that smells fine. All right.
Can we just point out, Connor's pretty badass Brew Lab hoodie that was custom made?
Uh-oh.
Hey, look at him go. It just sounds so much nicer. So now this is a good looking coffee. So when you spend all day looking at espresso shots, you do get used to what a coffee is supposed to look like. That's what a coffee is supposed to look like. We are pretty good. Oh. So
Whoa.
we're at 31.3 and 41.6. So our target, 32 seconds, 42 grams out. So we are pretty
I'm
well
pretty happy with
bang
that.
on.
Yeah.
Let's stir and taste again because our heart rate isn't high enough.
I'm really hoping I can stuff this up. Yeah. Yeah. I'm happy with that.
All right. Now that's a good coffee. That isn't our exact recipe that we use all day, every day, but like I said, it is very bloody close. And the taste is pretty much identical. Where are you thinking?
We dropped that down.
Oh yeah.
So that's more
yeah.
neutral. The texture was awesome. And that actually went up just a bit because that went down as well.
Yeah.
So I'm getting more of a sweeter flavor to it.
I would even.
You'd bump that up?
Yep.
It was smooth.
It was super smooth,
Yeah.
super creamy. If my heart rate wasn't already 90, like my resting heart rate is like low or high 60s, low 70s. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to tap out there for the night because
Picking this up, I was like,
yeah, like
I'm having a
that'll
hard
do.
time,
And
yeah.
look, to be honest, that is a bloody good espresso. I don't think we can really improve too much on that without drinking another 20 and finding some little discrepancies. But
from this, we've got it to
yeah.
that.
So that's a very good coffee.
That's a huge improvement.
So we've gone from 9 bar down to 6 bar. So it's dropped that main extraction pressure. We added post extraction, so it's pulled a lot of that back end pressure out, and that's where a lot of that flavor's done. Now we can play with the recipe in a lot of ways, right? So we can play with different dosing, so we can bring that up, down, sideways, whatever you want to do. We can change the temperature of the extraction as well, which I don't want to give everything away, but if we drop that temperature, that should come down.
Yeah.
Okay, it should. Not always, with this blend, I play with this coffee all day and I know that that will happen with this coffee.
Right.
But that is going to have to do for now because I am peaking. Whew, it's going to be a long night. Sorry, neighbours. And I think that'll have to do. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you think of this video. Let us know what you think of Connor's head because you're probably sick of looking at mine. It's probably bright red because he's 15 espressos deep and he spat one of them out, you jerk.
It was really bad.
It was pretty bad. I think next time what we can do, if you guys want another video, please let us know. I want to start playing with some single-o.
Single-o?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can really explore more of these flavors. And then we'll bring out the color wheel chart as well. The flavor wheel chart.
It's colored.
I am high.
Dude.
And then we can really have some fun with these coffees. I've got some pretty cool Guji. I've got some Colombia as well that I haven't even tried yet. I think the Colombia might be too close to use today, but we're not having another coffee today.
No.
Cut it out. All right. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Please like, subscribe, those things. I'm going to go and drink some water because I'm about to fucking pass out. Thanks heaps for watching, guys. Say hello to Connor. Give him something. I don't know, say hello. He's single. Thanks, guys. Bye.
See ya.